Breaking news tonight, Tropical Storm Bertha makes landfall and life-threatening floods strike the east. Dangerous floods sweeping through a neighborhood. First responders rescuing trapped drivers. Torrential rains putting tens of millions on alert. Plus, Tropical Storm Bertha moving inland. Storm surge and rain lashing the coast. We're tracking it all tonight. Also breaking, police struggling to detain a man accused of stealing bicycles. Then they opened fire, killing him. Police say he had a knife. The independent autopsy results for Nolan Wells released. Why it can't rule out foul play. And we hear from one of Nolan's friends about the day he went missing. President Trump paying respects to the 4 fallen U.S. service members killed in recent Iranian attacks. New video of the man who set fire outside an ICE office in New York the moment he was taken down. Machete standoff, a medical center forced into lockdown, how this police confrontation came to an end. The Ryanair passenger sucked out of a plane window, speaking for the first time after his head and shoulders were pulled outside the jet. A modeling scout who connected women with Jeffrey Epstein found dead in Paris, the mystery over his sudden death. Manhunt for a killer, the all-out search for a suspected murderer, all of the disguises she's been using. A helicopter crash landing directly on top of 2 people, both of them somehow surviving. The real magical mystery tour, this tour bus suddenly surprised by the legend Paul McCartney on a FaceTime with Ringo Starr. Nightly News starts right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Llamas.
And good evening. We thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. We want to begin tonight with the severe and dangerous weather taking aim all across the South. Tropical Storm Bertha hitting the Gulf states right now, and thankfully not as strong as feared, but still packing a punch. Here's how the storm looks from space right now. At its center, it's churning over southeast Louisiana. Out in the Gulf, you can see the powerful waves pounding an offshore rig. We're also following flooding further north. These aerials show one West Virginia town, and you see it here, completely underwater. This man seen grabbing his child and running for their lives. Seconds later, this is what happened. The floodwaters carry away his shed, ATV, and pieces of furniture. In Tennessee, these firefighters braving that rushing water to get to trapped drivers. And in Kentucky, look at this tornado kicking up debris, lightning striking all around it. George Solis is going to start us off tonight from the Louisiana coast.
Tonight, Tropical Storm Bertha turning ashore east of New Orleans. Bertha packing heavy rain and stormy seas. This is the view this morning from a rig off the Texas coast. As it moved through the Gulf, storm surge encasing these vehicles in sand in Dauphin Island, Alabama, south of Mobile, and submerging nearby streets with water, bringing bands of rain across southeast Louisiana. We're currently on Highway 1 en route to Grand Isle, where some of the visibility has diminished as some of the rain and wind has started to pick up. WDSU's Alyssa Gomez is in New Orleans.
Here in the Venetian Isles neighborhood of New Orleans, we've quickly watched the water rise from our ankles to our calves. Now the main concern is, will more rain and heavy winds push all of this water into these homes?
In Venice, near the mouth of the Mississippi River, we met fisherman Chris Glass, not taking any chances.
Got to make sure your boat's tied up for sure, because it could easily pop a line and float off.
And overnight, after torrential rain from a separate system in the east, Nashville fire crews making multiple water rescues. In West Virginia, a home security camera capturing floodwaters sweeping away this shed south of Clarksburg. Dozens of rescues in the state after as much as half a foot of rain fell there. More than 300 National Guard members now deployed to help residents.
George Solis joins us now live from Grand Isle, Louisiana. And George, we can see some of those waves there picking up behind you as the storm pushes west. What's the latest on Bertha tonight?
Tom, Bertha is weakening, but you can still see those gusts are packing a punch, but it is expected to make a second landfall sometime Thursday afternoon near Galveston, Texas, as a weak tropical storm. Tom?
Okay, George Solis for us. George, thank you. We're following some breaking news right now out of Wisconsin, where police in Madison shot a man with a knife while trying to take him into custody. The deadly struggle caught on tape. Maggie Vespa is following this one for us. And Maggie, this happened just hours ago?
Yeah, Tom, that's right. And a warning to our viewers, by the way, the video of this is incredibly disturbing. You see what appears to be a black SUV stop in an intersection in Madison, Wisconsin earlier today. You see officers jump out. 4 of them appear to tackle a man on a bike, and then a struggle ensues. Eventually, you hear 3 gunshots and then people around them screaming. Madison police say the man was armed with a knife, and they say he pulled it when the struggle ensued and wounded an officer who then fired, noting that they say was the only officer who fired. And they say the other officers tried to use a taser before that happened. They say that this encounter happened after they got a call about a man stealing bikes and trying to break into cars. Now, right now, police are not naming the man who was killed. They're also not naming the officers, and they say all officers involved are on administrative leave while this investigation gets underway. Tom.
Okay, Maggie, we thank you for that. There's also a major development in the case of Nolan Wells. Preliminary autopsy results just released in the death of the Mississippi teen. A forensic pathologist hired by the family saying the cause of death, though, still can't be determined. Our Aaron Gilchrist has more.
Tonight, newly released autopsy results are raising more questions about how Nolan Wells died. An independent exam commissioned by his family's legal team classified the cause and manner of death for the 18-year-old as undetermined pending investigation.
He's saying based on the examination of the body, he cannot rule out foul play. That is significant.
The forensic pathologist wrote there were no fractures, cuts, or bruises on Nolan's body, but noted red discoloration was found on the back of his head and needs more investigation. The autopsy was performed 4 days after his body was found. The pathologist also writing there were missing parts of the neck.
Have you or he asked anyone for access to those things?
Hopefully that the medical examiner will allow him to come and examine the throat, also to talk about observations that they had, and so they could share information.
It is not unusual for a state medical examiner to keep parts for further evaluation. Former medical examiner Dr. Priya Banerjee reviewed the autopsy report.
I think the best thing we can take away is that there's no identifiable trauma.
The Jackson County Sheriff's Office is still investigating what happened after Nolan went to Horn Island in a boat with friends on July 4th. His body was found 2 days later washed ashore there. Today, the family's attorney noted the doctor was unable to examine the airways and lungs for water to determine drowning. In a recent interview, Warren Hudson says he'd been friends with Nolan since they were kids. Hudson said they frequently went boating, and they went to Horn Island with a large group of friends on July 4th.
Everybody's drinking, you know, I mean, it's 4th of July. Everyone's just trying to enjoy themselves.
Okay, Aaron Gilchrist joins us now. Aaron, the big question still remains here, and still no toxicology results?
Tom, the family's legal team is still waiting for the toxicology report from the state, and the medical examiner's office tells us today it will share appropriate information when the investigation is complete. Tom?
Okay, Aaron Gilchrist with those new developments. Aaron, thank you. We are hearing for the first time from the Ryanair passenger who was partially sucked out of a plane window mid-flight. He and his wife say fellow passengers pulled him back in, saving his life. Here's Tom Costello.
These are the images, the blown-out window and the dangling oxygen masks that still haunt Ljubisa Karavich, the man who was violently sucked out of a plane up to his chest when a window blew out on a flight from Greece to Germany. Karavich tells the Guardian newspaper, "It's the noise before the chaos, the noise that is always there when I close my eyes to sleep." With his head and shoulders hanging out of the plane, his wife and fellow passengers pulled him back inside. His upper body was severely disfigured, his arm was badly injured, and there was blood everywhere, she says. The plane's right side engine appears to have ripped apart in flight, possibly sending shrapnel into the window. Once back inside, one passenger blocked the window with a suitcase, and Karavich, his wife says, passed out 3 times. "I thought I was losing him. His heart was beating so violently." But she says flight attendants only came to help after the pilots had made an emergency landing in Greece. Ryanair told The Guardian as soon as the aircraft descended to a safe altitude, our cabin crew attended to and assisted Mr. Karavich. Now at home, the 61-year-old father of 2 says he doesn't remember much and his head and neck still hurt, but he's alive. The U.S. NTSB is leading this investigation and says it has not ruled out aircraft age or service issues as a potential cause. The family is demanding accountability. Tom?
Okay, Tom, we have new video tonight of the arson attack outside a federal building here in New York City this week. The footage showing the suspect's preparation for the attack and how he was finally taken down. Jonathan Deans with this new video.
New video obtained by NBC News showing the arson attack outside a federal building in New York City Monday. The suspect, identified as 43-year-old Andrew Arabaka, allegedly seen igniting fireworks, setting off numerous flares. Some people in the distance take cover, while two others seem to walk right by. Moments later, you see the suspect pull out a pellet gun rifle and shoot it down the block at pedestrians. Next, he is seen with what investigators say is a can of gasoline. This new video shows the large fire that set off. As the flames continue to burn, the feds say Arabaka is seen returning to grab additional fireworks and hurls them to set off more explosions. The video shows a security guard grab the suspect, who begins to struggle with him. Other police are seen running up the block to help as the fire continues to burn.
I want to thank the work of our law enforcement partners, whose rapid response led to the neutralization of the threat.
The FBI says Arabaka admitted he wanted to target ICE. His defense lawyers say he's an Army veteran and has a history of mental illness. For now, he remains behind bars on the federal arson-related charges. Jonathan Deans, NBC News, New York.
Also today was a moving moment at Dover Air Force Base. President Trump attending the dignified transfer of 4 fallen U.S. service members killed in the Iran war. Our Courtney Cuby was there for it all.
One by one, 4 fallen U.S. soldiers arrived back on U.S. soil today after making the ultimate sacrifice. President Trump saluting at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, where no audio recording was allowed, for the dignified transfer of Army Captain Tyler James Feehan, Staff Sergeant Michael Emmanuel Swinton, Sergeant Angel S. Rampersad, and Private First Class Isabella Gonzalez. All 4 killed in recent days, 3 in Jordan, 1 in Iraq, as attacks from both the U.S. and Iran continue. The attack in Jordan so brutal that Sergeant Rampersad was initially listed as missing in action and now must be positively identified by a DNA test. U.S. ally Jordan increasingly a target of Iran. This video appearing to show warning sirens in the country where Iranian missiles struck an airbase with U.S. troops. Today on Capitol Hill, Democrats blasting UN Ambassador Mike Waltz over the war.
You don't even know how many U.S. troops were wounded in this Iran war. Shame on you for not even know basic facts. You are the U.S. ambassador, and you don't even know how many U.S. troops were wounded in the Iran war. You got that wrong.
Overnight, the U.S. launched the 11th straight night of attacks on Iran, targeting aircraft hangars and drone storage facilities in an attempt to degrade Iran's ability to launch attacks on ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And with gas prices up another 5 cents today, President Trump posted a threat that if Iran launches any new attack on a ship in the Strait, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran.
I just left Dover Air Force Base.
The president also speaking today in Georgia after flying Captain Tyler Feehan's family home on Air Force One and acknowledging their loss to the crowd.
We will carry Tyler's memory in our hearts forever.
And Tom, we just learned moments ago that U.S. Central Command has launched more strikes against Iranian military targets tonight, in part to degrade their ability to threaten commercial shipping in regional waters. Tom?
Courtney Cuby first. Courtney, thank you. A mystery in Paris tonight involving the sudden death of a modeling scout who was linked to Jeffrey Epstein for years. Hallie Jackson has the latest on this investigation.
Modeling scout Daniel Siad found dead in his home outside Paris Monday night. Siad, who was under investigation in France, appears nearly 2,000 times in the DOJ's Jeffrey Epstein documents, connecting the late convicted sex offender with women overseas. One example, I had 2 girls from Sweden, a Slovakian, 2 French, referencing good work for scouting, and in multiple messages noting their ages. When Epstein asks, responding in one email, 26, but she looks 18. Epstein maintained a home in Paris, visiting often. His correspondence about women with Siad coming after Epstein's controversial 2008 sweetheart plea deal on solicitation charges. Siad, before his death, denying wrongdoing, saying he never knew about Epstein's abuses.
He was such a powerful person, and how can I not trust him?
A lawyer for several Epstein survivors who say they were connected to him via Siad tells NBC News her clients are shocked and feel disillusioned, calling it regrettable Siad died before he could be interviewed by investigators. Siad was never charged or arrested in the French trafficking inquiry, which was opened after the U.S. Justice Department's document release, years after the arrest of modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel, the Epstein associate who died by suicide behind bars in 2022, awaiting trial on rape and sex trafficking charges. Siad's lawyer tells NBC News Siad always proclaimed his innocence, wanting to see the truth come to light. Siad's lawyer suggests it's possible he died from a heart attack, but there's been no official determination on cause of death. French prosecutors say there will be an autopsy. Tom?
Hallier, thanks to you. When we return in 60 seconds, these images, all of the same woman, considered a master of disguise on the run and now wanted for murder. Plus, the helicopter crash landing right on top of two people, how they survived. And a magical mystery tour unlike any other. Sir Paul McCartney pulls up next to a bus tour, and check out who he's on a video call with. That's coming up. There's a manhunt right now in Florida for a woman wanted for murder. She's been on the run for almost a month, possibly using disguises to evade capture. Jesse Kirsch has the latest.
Look closely at these photos. Investigators say they all show the same woman, a cunning master manipulator named Isabel Johnson, who tonight is on the run and wanted for murder.
I'm just trying to get back to my house.
The Walton County Sheriff's Office releasing this video of the 38-year-old in Florida's Panhandle, saying this is what her voice may sound like.
I'll put the address.
Johnson is wanted in connection with the killing of Jason Coltart, a 43-year-old father who was found dead in a shallow grave last month. Authorities have spent weeks searching for Johnson, arresting 5 people for accessory after the fact to a capital felony.
Our focus right now and our mission right now is finding her so that way we can hold her accountable for the homicide.
Investigators warning Johnson has multiple aliases, may have changed her appearance, and should be considered dangerous. Authorities say Johnson may even claim to be dealing with hardships like domestic violence, so that strangers will give her a ride or money. And now the sheriff's office says the reward has increased to up to $16,000 for information that leads to Johnson's arrest. Tom?
Jesse Kirsch on that manhunt tonight. We're back in a moment with the police standoff with a machete-wielding man that forced a hospital into lockdown, how they eventually stopped him. We're back now with a police takedown in Southern California that put a hospital on lockdown. You see a man wielding a machete. Authorities say it all started from a road rage incident. Police say they first deployed less lethal rounds as the man moved towards them before opening fire. The man is in critical condition tonight. Also, a helicopter crash like you've never seen before. Watch the yellow chopper as it starts to lose altitude, smoke pouring out the back before it lands right on top of 2 people. The victims stuck underneath the wreckage, but eventually were rescued. Both went to the hospital, one with serious injuries. And in Liverpool, the ultimate surprise for some Beatles fans, they were riding the magical mystery tour bus when look who they spotted, Sir Paul McCartney himself. There he is in the back seat, and the surprise gets even better. He's on FaceTime with Ringo Starr. McCartney flips the camera around so fans can wave to Ringo, and when fans tried to say goodbye, Paul kept saying hello, hello. That's Nightly News for this Wednesday. I'm Tom Llamas. We thank you so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.